Am I the a-hole for calling the police on my neighbors? So yesterday evening, my neighbors had a birthday party because of country's COVID stats have gotten much better in these past few weeks. We lived in the countryside, lots of us have smaller farms, which is why we aren't really living close together. Now, as I said, my neighbors had a birthday party and played loud music, which honestly was nice to listen to. But once the clock was past midnight, the music became louder and I couldn't even fall asleep. Edit. My country has the law that no disturbance of night peace is allowed between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I had to get up before 5 today because I had some at-home visits on my schedule. I am a veterinarian apprentice. Sorry for the English. And when it was almost 2 a.m., I called and texted my neighbor if there is a chance that they could turn it down a bit. They answered that I live far enough, but I shouldn't hear much. So I sent them a video where you can hear how loud their music is and was basically called a prude. Old-fashioned, bitter bitch. Mom, grandma. I'm 29 female, so I decided to call the cops. I was told I wasn't the one who called and that they're already on their way. And today when I talked to my dad, he also called me bitter and no wonder I have no friends. Which really hurt as I have very busy life and so do my friends. So am I the a-hole for calling the cops because I wanted to sleep? Info. Because I see some people talking about it. No, my dad was not at the party, he was at home. They have been doing this for the past few weeks. It's not all birthday parties. It's just plain weekend parties that are usually going on all night. I'm not the only one complaining. Their closest neighbors are our parents with twin baby girls. They were the ones who called the police yesterday besides myself. The mom is a good friend of my cousin. I had to give 2 lethal injections today on my at-home visit. It's been rough preparing for this mentally. And honestly, a decent sleep is quite important to me. I'm not that old. I'm 29, with no kids, ATM. With a steady boyfriend and a group of friends I wouldn't trade for the world and I like partying with them. I just can't imagine inconveniencing people and being noisy in a rather close neighborhood as they have neighbors that are rather close to them. Our farm is much more secluded. Hope this clears out some things.
You tried the nice way, your neighbors resorted to abuse and ridicule, so you were NTA. The fact that you were not the only one complaining really says it all. I am sorry your dad joined the stupid bandwagon. Good luck with everything. They would have been TA if they hadn't texted because with how secluded their farms are, it is possible the partying neighbors had not realized that others could hear the music. In an ideal world, op texts, neighbors go sorry we didn't realize and turn it down. That is not the case here, which is why NTA. Sadly, they exist everywhere. Many people simply have no understanding of the concept that there are other people on the planet. That the entirety of the universe does not, in fact, revolve around them. It still amazes me that we have gone from believing that the Earth was the center of everything, to the Sun being at the center, to realizing that our solar system is insignificant out on the fringe, and yet most people act as if they're the center of all most importantest thing, ever. Stupid humans. I also had a neighbor that got evicted because regardless of the many complaints they got, they thought they could throw wild ragers in an apartment complex. They would have 15 to 20 people in their apartment and they'd be blasting loud music and girls running around the complex, screaming like they were in an EDM concert. The parties didn't even last an hour before the cops showed up and broke it off. I remembered one weekend, they thought they could outsmart the system and have the guests leave for 5 to 10 minutes, then come back and go at it again. They tried this every weekend for the month of January, and a for rent sign appeared in the front window by the beginning of February. This was all right before COVID went widespread a month after. I needed to move away from my last apartment because my new neighbor under me was making music. On his Facebook page I could see all his equipment like control panels. But no headphone like I guess. Every night with much bass. It wore me really down that sometimes it was the same accord for hours. Now I absolutely can't stand it when I hear bass or tones in the background which repeat itself over a longer time. This neighbor really made me mentally ill. NTA. Sleep is important and it is impolite to play music loudly until gone midnight. Heck, it's impolite to play music loudly at any hour if you do it consistently. Not only did you ask them nicely first but you also gave them plenty of time to turn the music off, or down, by themselves. Considering you had to get up at 5 a.m., You waited a lot longer than some of us might. Besides, it is clear you are not the only person who was disturbed by the noise, to the extent that somebody else also got sick of it and called the police. They pushed past acceptable noise level and time of day, with no regard for the fact other people might be getting up early / have children / whatever. This might have been okay if they hadn't realized it was that loud, but the moment they realized it was, they should have been more considerate. NTA, it's disrespectful from them, not even considering the fact that they were abusive. I've called the cops on my neighbors multiple times back when I lived in a different city. They also played loud music day in and day out and were abusive if you tried to talk to them. But calling the cops didn't do much for us, and I'm happy we moved. NTA. You tried reaching out to them and they ignored / insulted you back. Also, you weren't even the first to call. They may think only you called if you were by chance the only one that reached out to them, but as the dispatcher told you, you weren't the first. If people are going to have loud parties, they should notify neighbors and have a reasonable time, like say 11. After that, fair game to call. NTA. Wow, that was really rude and aggressive. If your dad, is he often that mean to you? While I understand that most people sleep at night, some of us do have to be up all night to keep basic services running, and I wish we were afforded the same respect that day people are. The world wouldn't be very nice if services such as hospitals, police and fire didn't work at night. Alas, we are invisible, and this isn't the point of your post. You're not TA, but your dad is for that remark. You did the right thing, as evidenced by the fact that you weren't the only one. NTA. You gave them a kind warning first and they insulted you. Okay, they want to host a party, good, but they are not the only people in the neighborhood and they have to respect others too. Why does your sleep have to be ruined just because some jerks have no boundaries and no sense of their surroundings? I'm pretty sure they're assholes in other aspects of their lives, too. As for your dad? Maybe he was brought up more connected to his neighbors, the older generations were like this, so he may not be bothered by these things.